Hello crafters, this is Julia Fair in Fair's Craft Lair, and I have another YouTube Tuesday video for you today. Today we are going to be creating this Brusho Blizzard, is what I call it, Brusho Blizzard card. And it uses the Snowfall Thinlits dies, and it also uses the Snow is Glistening stamp set. We're going to use the Joy Sentiment right in the middle of the card. And from the Snowfall Thinlits dies, we're going to use the really big, pretty snowflake that's in here. Just going to get it out. I love these. This is only available during the month of November, and it's only available for a few more days. So if you've been interested in it or eyeing it, I would highly suggest that you get this soon. Alright, so this is the die that we're going to use, and of course I didn't brush everything out. I probably need to do that real quick. I'm actually going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and we have a die brush, which works great too, but I just am going to do it this way real quick because I had that nearby. Alright, so for this, because we're going to be doing Brusho, and Brusho is a special coloring technique. It's a really fun coloring technique, but because of that, we're going to be using water on our card. And we want to make sure that we're using a type of cardstock or paper that's going to hold that water. So there we go. Now you can see a little bit. This is the shimmery white cardstock. So I'm going to use that for both the snowflake in the middle, which it doesn't show very much, but then also for this layer that I'm going to do the Brusho on, okay? So I wanted to give you a heads up on that to make sure that you know to be looking for that. So before we do any Brusho work, I'm going to get our die cut out. And again, I'm making my sandwich. I've got my two base plates with my thin die adapter. I'm putting down one of my cutting plates, and then I'm putting my die in. Let's see if I can get a better angle of that. There we go. And then I'm just going to layer this. And as long as it's all on top, you can run it through. I find that this needs, for my machine, it will need a second time through. So I just reverse and go back the way I came, which is pretty easy. So if you have some dies that need a little extra pressure to get it to cut out, that's what you would want to do. Run it through a couple times. If you need to, you can put a shim underneath, which is like a piece of cardstock underneath. Okay, so here's my die. And again, I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool to kind of punch those little pieces out. All right, we'll come back to that in a minute. Actually, we're going to stamp next. I want to stamp the middle of this and get the stamping done. Alright, so we're going to use the Joy stamp and Night of Navy ink. I still have some old inks. I have a feeling I will probably be keeping some of these inks around for a long time because they work so well. So yeah, they updated everything, and I might be tempted to update mine as well, but you know what, it's just a testament these work so well. These stamp sets, these ink pads work really well, and regardless of the fact that they changed the design, they're still going to be good for years to come. I've known people who have had ink from them that have had inked up ink pads that have lasted for years and years and years, and like 5 years more. Okay, so I just kind of start flicking. Yeah, this is a very technical thing to do. We're just gonna flick all the little pieces out. If they all come out, that's great. Of course, they make a mess of your work surface, but that's okay. We're starting to think about Christmas presents. I'm sure everybody is. For me, this is a little late in the year, actually, because we usually have to send a bunch of ours. We have to get them in the mail. So trying to get everything mailed and arriving on time is a hard thing to do. So I don't know about you, but it's a little late in our household. What kind of things are you guys looking at? What are some of the new cool things that are happening out, you know, for Christmas presents this year that I'm so out of touch with all that stuff. I have no idea what the new big things are. That'd be really, really good to know. So, okay, so I'm getting, this is mostly done. We'll get to the fun Brusho here in a second. I wanted to get our stamping out of the way first. All right, so that's done. It got a little wrinkly. That's okay. It won't hardly even show. So we're gonna set that aside. My take your pick tool is going away, as is all this fun, lovely. Let me clear this off a second because that's just gonna get in the way. All right, you notice today I did not put down on my surface. I did not put down any of my grid paper, and there's a reason for that. I'm getting the chair out now. All right, getting the chair out now. All right, I am simply using my my craft paper or my craft surface. It's non-stick. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for Stampin' Up to get these, and I really wish that they would, because it's this is one of the best things ever. It's heat resistant. It's adhesive resistant. It just does so many things. If you don't have this, your silicone mat will work. However, it's pretty small to be trying to do Brusho on. Otherwise, just getting some wax paper would be an excellent thing to do as well. So I have my shimmery white cardstock here, and oh wow, I may have forgotten to get my spritzer watered up, so we'll see if I can do that real quick. Oh, I got one of them. Just need the other one. Sorry, guys. There we go. That'll work better. I try to keep some, my craft room doesn't have any running water in it, so I try to keep some water in like a container nearby. So these are the Stampin' Spritzers, and they are really handy. They give you a little bit of water, and they keep it contained really well, so I love that. All right, so let's talk about Brusho. Brusho, you get the whole set. It comes in 5 colors. This will last you forever. It has so much in it, okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, they come, let me show you how they come in the box, all right, with all 5 of them in there. And then they have this little tab that's to contain it in there. And I was like, well, I wonder if I have to take that off, and there may be a coating on the inside or whatnot. Nope, I took those off. And the blue one has all this extra blue, beautiful blue color around it. Okay, so that gave me an inkling of, no, I really didn't want to do that. And the red one was not quite as messy, but I did open it up, and I wanted to show you, this is literally what it is. The cap comes off, and it's just a container of color, okay? So you do not have to go through that process. Just leave it all sealed up. And honestly, all I did was I took my take your pick tool and I poked a hole in the middle of each of them, which is something that the demonstrators that I work with have talked about. And this is why you want to use it like a salt shaker. Okay, and I'm just going to tap some color all over it. So this is the Brilliant Red. And once I'm done, I'm going to cap that up, and I just used an old piece of washi tape to cap it up. Okay, some people keep a pin in it. I'm like, I want them to go back in the box, so I don't have to worry about that. The blue comes out a little bit better, which tells me that I poked a little bit better of a hole. So I'm going to cap that up. All right, so now I've got blue and the red, and the blue is the Prussian blue. All right. And if you don't like getting your fingers messy, you may want to wear gloves for this. I really don't care, but you can see I've got blue pigment on my fingers already, okay? So, and now what we're gonna do is just spritz. And you see what happens. And it's gonna start pooling together and making all sorts of cool stuff. And I do want it to run, so I'm gonna move it around. And I could leave it like that if I really want to, but you know me, I'm not like that. So I start mopping up what's on the table because that helps it. I really wanted a pretty purple, and see, there we go. We're getting that purple that I was looking for. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you can do as much or as little as you want to with this. And I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. And what I'm going to start doing is hitting this up with my heat tool to start drying it. Okay. And I have a box of tissues nearby so I can get my fingers all nice and at least dry. And I'm going to clean off my surface in a second here as well. So we're getting the heat tool going. We're literally just going to dry this. And I should say, I have a really old heat tool. I'm getting my Stampin' Up one soon. Alright, so this is starting to dry, but I still have a lot of ink and color on my surface, and I don't want that to go to waste, so I'm going to press this back in, and it's going to give me some different layered effects, okay? It's going to give me a more mottled look on the surface, which is what I want. So I just pick some of that up as it starts drying and go again. Pretty good again. So we're going to do it one more time and see how much of this extra ink we can pick up, this extra color. All right, that looks pretty good to me. All right, so I'm going to wipe this down real quick. You see it kind of just spreads all over. That's all right. But this surface, I love it. And now all I need to do is take a baby wipe. So I could use paper towels. I have paper towels. It's just didn't really care to use them right now. All right, so it's going to continue to pick up some color, but it gets lighter and lighter, which is really good. And then I'm just going to go over it once more with another tissue. You could do this with wax paper. If you want with wax paper, you just throw it away, chuck it. It'll be fine. All right, so that makes it easy. And I'm just going to dry this so that we can assemble our card. So flipping it over helps to flatten it out. And I'm just going to check that. And I can kind of curl it open and flat. So if yours is fairly flat, you can use snail on it. I find that sometimes that is not quite strong enough since this paper curls. If you don't like the curling, use watercolor paper. Watercolor paper, you can adhere it to your board and dry it flat, and it'll stay, it's designed to stay more flat. This actually isn't so bad. So I'm still going to use my liquid adhesive and show you guys what I do real quick for if it's too curly for me. Because sometimes it is too curly. I get my multi-purpose liquid glue, if I can get it going. Take a tissue. It looks like this one's clogged. Thankfully it doesn't really get clogged very bad. Alright, let's try a different one. It's nice to have a few of them around. Oh, wow. I'm batting 1,000 today, guys. Ha! Alright, maybe I need to find a different one. I'll bring this one over. Let's hope one of these, there we go. Like, one of these has got to work. I have a whole bunch of them for good reasons. That was a little odd. Okay, so laying this out, and then I'm gonna put this. This one ended up a little darker. I used a little bit more color initially, which is not a bad thing. And the liquid adhesive, I love it because it allows you to kind of slide it around, move it around a bit. Yeah, which is good. So you can get it in exactly the place that you want it if your aim isn't perfect. Okay, so then the next thing I do is I take a couple blocks, smoosh it. All right, and while I'm smooshing that, I'm going to take some adhesive, and I'm gonna make sure I leave my border. Normally we don't suggest this, but when I'm doing something on camera for you guys and I want to make sure that you can get it in a timely fashion, I don't want it waiting a ton of extra time for you guys. Slide it up, make sure it's on camera. There we go. All right, a little white border, little navy blue border. Flip that back over. And while that's going, we're going to put mini glue dots. Mini glue dots go on this, on the snowflake. So I'm going to put about 3 in the middle. And those you can just touch to get them on, which is great. All right, and then what I do is I'm gonna ball these up, and I can actually ball them up and tear them in half. So just ball them up and pull them apart. And then I'm gonna put them kind of towards the end of each of the snowflake points so that they have another point of contact for keeping the adhesive. All right, so I at least want to do this on all the long ones, if not the long ones and the short ones. But the long ones are the ones that need, they're not as, they only have one point that connects them, see that? So that's why I want to make sure I get them down really good. So I'm going to go through and do those. Let's do the long ones first. I love glue dots because they just roll up really nicely on the back, and it's super easy. They're super easy to use. You can keep them flat by just sticking them on, you know, touching your project to where you want them, and they stick. But if you need something else, they roll up into these tiny little balls, and it's perfect for putting on the back of embellishments and stuff like that too. All right, so let's put this one over here. That's probably good. Okay, so I've got plenty on the back now, which is good, and that's gonna hold this guy down really well. And this guy has been sitting under here, so he'll probably stay pretty flat now. All right, so now I just wanna make sure that the card is oriented properly. There we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is lay this down in the middle and measure my sides, kind of eyeball it and press when I got it in the right spot. And that is it. That's how you make this awesome card. Okay, so Brusho can be a great background for a lot of different things. If you'd like more information on Brusho, please let me know. I'll help you with whatever I can. I'm going to be doing some other projects with this eventually as well. But if you are interested in a Brusho class, I'd love to make one for you. Again, if you're looking to purchase any products, I have my host code open, and it is Celebration, or not, oh, Celebration is coming up, but it's the online extravaganza. So I want to make sure that you guys know there that through November 28th, we're having different deals every 2 days. And right now, stamp sets and kits are on sale. So please, if you're looking for a demonstrator, go ahead and shop with me. This is my host code. Otherwise, I hope you had a great Crafty Tuesday. We'll see you next time.